Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the Nova Plays Coding YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys a little bit of a teach here on how to make a Discord bot. Yes, you heard me right, a Discord bot that can do a lot of stuff. Essentially, it's ChatGPT, but in Discord, and yes, it actually uses the legitimate ChatGPT-3 models. So, with everything being said, let's get into that little bit of a tutorial today, and let's have a little bit of fun with it, because honestly, it is freaking awesome. So, with everything being said, what's the first thing we're going to want to do with this thing? We're going to want to go, and we're going to want to do new folder, and then we're going to name this. So, we're going to go AI Discord bot. We're just going to go, yeah. We're just going to go AI Discord bot. We're just going to call it AI Discord bot. Now, we're going to open the folder, and we're going to right-click, open with Visual Studio Code. Now, if you don't have Visual Studio Code, it's all right. You can use your editor of choice, and you can use your normal command prompt and stuff like that. I just prefer to use Visual Studio Code because it's easier. So, what we're going to want to do is we're going to go new terminal. We're going to type in npm init, and this will create a file. We're going to click enter. We're going to click enter, and if you want to put a description, you can. This is a Discord bot. Okay, so now we have a package.json. Essentially, when you do npm init, it essentially just goes through options with you and fill out all those options to the best of your ability. It essentially just tells npm what your project is, right? If you're trying to use someone else's project, sometimes it won't work because they didn't set up the package.json properly. So every time we want to make a node project, which we're using discord.js, we want to be able to use this. So what do we need to do? Well, here's the 3 packages we need to install, and follow along with me. And this will make a ChatGPT clone in Discord that will remember the conversations with each user it has had, because the way it passes the content, well, not really the way it passes the content, but just it remembers what has been said in the chat in the past. Now, keep in mind, if you turn off the bot, the session ID will change. So essentially means that it will actually mess up if you restart the bot, which is fine, right? Restarting the bot is fine. It's whatever. But just keep that in mind. This is just a very simple thing to get it going. That's it. All right? All right. So let's get into this. So first things first, we're going to go npm i .env. We're going to install .env. And then we're going to go right-click, new file, .env. And then we're also going to go right-click, new file. And we're going to call this index.js. Okay. So now in the .env file, here's what we're going to want to do. We're going to want to grab we're going to want to type in 2 different things. So we want to set up the configuration file first. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to type in open. We're going to press the uppercase key on your keyboard. By the way, caps lock. Open AI underscore API underscore key. Equals, and then we're also going to go bot underscore token equals token equals. All right, so I'm going to fill out this data I'm going to fill out this data on a different editor screen just for the sake of it, because, or I'm going to fill this data out on a different editor window just for the sake of I don't want anything messed up and I don't want my information leaked. So once you put in your bot token and you put in your open API key, right, and you just paste them at the end of the lines. So you don't add any text identifiers or anything. It's not JSON. It's a .env. It's a little bit different. Okay. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to index.js, the other file that we just created, and this is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to go import dot. No, we're going to go dot env from, and then doot, and then dot env. There we go. The next thing we're going to want to do is go import, and this is where we start doing some actual complicated stuff. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pass 2 variables for discord.js, which we also do want to install discord.js. So we're going to go npm I discord.js, and once that's done installing, we're going to want to pass one more. We're going to want to install one more, which is npm I OpenAI. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to go back to the import function up top here, and we're going to want to type, so we're going to want to go import, and then we're going to put brackets, and then we want to type in space client, and then put a comma, and then gateway, and we're going to go gateway intents. So we want to do gateway intents. There's a reason why we want to do intent, so we're going to go gateway intent bits, and then that it automatically pulls it from discord.js. We're going to do the same thing again, import, and we're going to put the brackets, and then we're going to do a space, and then configuration from OpenAI. We're going to do one more, and we're going to go OpenAI API. Okay, and now we want to do this. So now we want to go .env.config. So that we can pass the, we want to be able to, so this is so that we can pass the .config file, or the config file. So this is essentially passing this file into this file now. And then we're going const, C-O-N-S-T, const client, wrong type of client, C-L-I-N-T, lowercase client, equals, that's not the equals, there we go, new, and now we go client, and then boop, and then we go brackets, enter. Why is my bracket gone? Excuse me. Alright, const client. We set it up just like this, essentially. Now we're going to want to call our intents. So we're going from top to bottom right now, so this is what we're doing. So we're going to go intents, and then we're calling an array, and then we're going gateway intent bits dot GUIL dot GUILDS guilds. gateway intent bits dot GUILD ME. I put the wrong thing. MESS guild messages, and then one more. GATE gateway intent bits dot message content. Okay, and then we go put a comma after the array also. So essentially what we've done so far is we have imported .env and activated the config file. We have pulled the client from Discord. We have also passed the intents that it needs. So it's gateway intent bits, guild, gateway intent bits, guild messages, gateway intent bits, message content. So now that we passed all three of those, what we're going to want to do is we're going to go and we're going to now call the open API configuration. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, I would say. This is where it starts getting more complicated if you've never worked with open API or APIs in general. Is what we're essentially going to be doing is we're going to be messing with a few arrays and a few other things in the next parts of this. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to type in first, because we want to call the constant. So essentially all of this is a constant. So it's looking for these intents right here. It needs these intents to function. So these are all constant, right? Every time a message is called on this thing, this is constant. So what do we got to do? So we're going to type in const, which is just const, const, which means it's a constant. We can also just type in constant, but we don't need to type in constant because there's no point. Const OpenAI equals new right? Yeah. All right. Open API, and then we're gonna go inside of those. We're gonna go new one more time. And then we're gonna type in configuration. New configuration, and then we're gonna go with this. No, this and this, and then we hit enter. And then we go, and we go boom. Cool. So now we're going to type in API key, doot. Then we're going to type in process .env .open OPEN AI underscore API underscore key. Alright, and then we do that. Cool. So what did this do? What did we do exactly? So here's what we do exactly when we wrote this line of code? Well, the first thing is we called the constant. The next thing is we called OpenAI, which is this right here. Right? The next thing we did is called the OpenAI API. Then we called configuration, which configurates the artificial intelligence to actually do something. And then we called the API key function. This essentially now, and when we pull that API key out of our env file, which we made earlier, the first thing we did, and this is how it goes. So now the next thing we want to do is we essentially want to start this like any Discord chatbot. We're gonna first call client create, or client message create, which is how you call it. So CLIENT, and we're gonna make sure that it's this right here. So client boolean. All right, and then we're gonna go dot and then on, and then doot, and then we go do, and then we go SSAGE message create, And then we want to make this an async function. So we're going to go asy and async function. And we're going to do this, and we're going to go message. We want to pass message. And then we go boop, and then we go boop. Okay, and then we do that. Every single function or part of the Discord bot, we want to end it with this thing right here. I don't remember the name of it, but we always want to end it. It's good practice. Always want to end it like that. So here we go. So now what we want to do is we want to do a few setup things first. The first thing that we want to do is we want to check if the message that the bot is receiving from the channel is either from a bot or from a user. Because there's two different things. We do not want the robot responding to other robots. It causes issues usually. So how do we stop that from happening? Well, we type in if, and then, so this is now an if statement, message dot author dot bot. If the message author is a bot, so that's essentially what that means. If the message author is a bot, we want to return, and that's all we need to do. It just essentially kills the code, stops the code. The next thing we want to do is we don't want this thing, unless it's a Discord server specifically designed just to chat with this bot, we want it to only be locked to one channel. This is assuming that you're only using this on your Discord server, not every single other person that you know's Discord server. But you can spin the code. It's a very low-end code, so it's not that hard on your computer. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to go if, and do the thing again, and then we go message dot channel dot ID exclamation mark, which essentially means this needs to be exact. It means exactly equals this number. We're gonna return false. Okay. If this returns anything else but the number, which is essentially the channel ID that we put in here, which if you don't know how to get a channel ID, it's very simple. First things first, we're going to go to user settings, and then we want to go, and I got to remember exactly where it is. If I remember correctly, it would be advanced. The first thing we want to do is we want to turn on developer mode right there. So now what we want to do is we want to go right click, copy ID, and it's hovering over the channel. Right click, copy ID, and now we copy and paste that right into there, right? So we put that right in there. The next thing that we want to do is we want to try to do a function. So, well, actually, here's what we're going to do first. We're going to go client.login process.env.bot token. And we go boom. Why do I keep not putting the N in token? Jesus. Okay. And then we want to go console.log message, console.log message, and we also want to log the message dot author there. So now we're just gonna test this real quick. Node index. Can I use import statement out of side of a module? What do you mean outside of a module? So type module inside of package.json or use the MJS. I get what I did wrong. So we need to do boop type type, because I always mess this part up, right? Type module. There, save. Now we can run. Now we can run in parts. Message is not defined. Right. It actually might help if I actually get. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just build the whole code. We're not gonna test it, and we're gonna hope for the best. If I can remember how to do this, I was half asleep when I actually made this originally. So, or when I made it originally. Luckily, I've been working with GPT Turbo for a day or so it's good. It's Gucci. We're good. All right, so we're gonna do a try. Because why should we try? All right, so we're gonna go try, and then we're gonna go catch. Why did you put the try? Catch. ER. Catch error. Boop. And we're gonna go return message dot RAP reply message dot reply. I broke. 1 sec. And that's what we gotta do. Alright, so now we're gonna make another constant. We're actually gonna make 2. So here's what we got. So we're gonna first do const. I'm just gonna use things, and we're gonna go await. So what are we awaiting for essentially? We're waiting for open AI dot, and then we're gonna go create chat completion. A lot of people mess this part up, right? I've seen so many people mess this part up. This is what we want to do. We want to do create chat completion. We don't want to do create completion because we want to use the GPT 3.5 turbo model, which is ChatGPT. Keep that in mind, okay? So that's why we're doing this. And we're going to make another set of brackets right there. We're going to do this right here. And then we're going to go tab, and now we're going to go and call this stuff. So this is essentially another configuration specifically for the AI to do. So here's what we got for this. So we're going to go model doot. And we're going to do, and then we'll do this. And essentially what this is, by the way, is essentially just No, I fucked that up. Actually, no. Each one of these arrays is their own specific thing. All right. So this is the basic layout of these. We gotta go. Right. Do I have to put the thing? Yes, I do have to put the thing. Okay. Alright, so this is the basic layout of all of this, right? This is the basic layout of the configuration for the artificial intelligence. So we're going to type in here GPT hyphen 3.5 hyphen turbo. And now we're going to go down to this array right here. What are we going to put in this array? Well, we're going to go first, since it needs data to figure out what the heck these are essentially the two starter messages. Well, the first one's the starter message, so we're gonna call this a system. So we're gonna go roll dot system. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go content dot and call that. And then you just put whatever the heck you want it to be. So for me, I'm just gonna say your name is Kilo. So that'll work. And now we're going to go roll on the other array set. And we're going to do this. And we're going to go user. And we're going to go comma. And then we go content. And we go message.content. Message.content. So now what essentially this does here is so here's what we've done. We first created a constant which allows us to check response. This constantly is here. It's going to, every time we call response, it's going to await, and it's going to wait for OpenAI chat completion to finish. We called the model, which is GPT 3.5 Turbo. We called the first message, which is roll system content information, right? So roll system content information. That's essentially what it is. Information about what the bot is, what you want it to do. Essentially the backstory of the bot, right? Now we're going to go roll user content message.content. So now we got message.content, right? Right. So here's what we got now. We need to make this function, we need to go const content equals response dot data dot cs choices array 0 dot message, and then we also now need to return return. This is essentially sending the message reply message dot reply doot content, and then we go doot. Okay, so now everything, this is essentially the whole configuration. It should be working. It should work perfectly fine. Once we go node index, it won't do anything, right? But we can check the bot if we go to our Discord server, go to the channel that we called, hello, and we type in hello. And now we see the bots functioning and working properly. What is your name? Can you do? So, you see, it's fairly cool, and it's fairly calm, and it's fairly collective. So, with all of this being said, right, there are a few things that can be done to make this more efficient, right? But honestly, it's fine for a Discord bot. If it's for one server, not for many, it's good, it's fine, it's whatever. There's a few other things though that I would like to mention before you get going with this. The OpenAI ChatGPT API that we have to use to do this, and the GPT API also, are paid programs. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, APIs are expensive to produce and maintain. So when I say that they cost money, they do cost money. It's not much money, and $20 will last you about 2 months, right? But I'm just saying, right? It's definitely going to take a lot out of your wallet over time, but it's not that much. So, with everything that's been said so far, right? What can we get out of this? Well, the first thing is we got out a little bit of developer frustration, and we figured out how to use the OpenAPI new ChatGPT function to actually legitimately create a new type of bot on Discord that used to not be able to be possible. The bot remembers what has been said to it in the past conversation. The bot also remembers specific user responses and specific users. And yes, it can actually do this because it passes message to it. It doesn't, well, it passes message to content, but you get the idea. It's, from my experience, it somehow is able to figure out how it's done. Even though this is the most basic implementation, I don't know how it does it, but it does it. So, with all that being said, though, this has been a Nova Plays Games and this has been a Nova Plays coding tutorial brought to you by actually no one, but brought to you by me. And you guys have a great day. Please put down in the comment section below what else would you guys like to see me make or teach you guys how to make, and I will be gladly to help. One thing I will say is I am working on another little project with ChatGPT, which is going to be cool as shit. It's going to be cool as a cucumber pretty soon here. So, what are we going to do with ChatGPT in the next couple videos, hopefully? Well, the main one is we're going to rewrite a few things. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that you guys will be able to download and use a Twitch TTS OpenAI bot like Neurosama. Now, again, the stuff that I'm doing here for this video and the other video is going to be the most basic implementation possible. The easiest setup, basic implementation, right? There will be more videos getting into more in-depth stuff, like how to turn this Discord bot right here that can read the message, pass that off to, let's say, the TTS engine, bring it through to a user account that's sitting inside of a voice channel, and then playing the audio back to the user. Or how about STTS pulled from a Discord call through a microphone, right? So we pull audio from desktop, throw it through STTS or STT, then we put it through OpenAI, generate a response, put it through to Discord, back through the microphone of the user account, right? And it doesn't violate the terms of service at all because it's not interacting and it's not touching Discord's API at all, right? It's actually touching our local computer stuff. Discord has said and stated that as long as it doesn't modify the Discord client, we can do it. So, with that being said, what would you guys like to see me do with Discord and OpenAI? What would you guys like me to see I can do with OpenAI? And what would you guys like to see in general? Right? Do you guys want to see like cool stuff? Like image generation inside of the Discord chat too? Because I definitely can set it up so that you guys can run image generation through this, right? So one thing that we could do, right, is we could make another thing here. We can pull Dolly 2 instead. So we could go, well, actually, no. We'll mark that for another video. We'll mark that as an extension, part 2 of this Discord bot right here. The next video, we're going to add image generation to it. So it's going to be pretty cool. Have a great day.